Hello everyone, welcome to another Rick's Picks. This weekend I was at RetroCon 2023 and I got lucky. I got to talk to one of the owners, Rose, and she was willing to sit down with me and have an interview with me to talk a little bit about what goes into, RetroCon. And not only did I get to have an interview with her, but I was also able to get a, interview with her with the majority of her staff. So what this video is going to be today is I'm going to be talking with them. They're all going to be giving their own tidbits and stuff upon what goes on behind making RetroCon. Because, us as fans, we get to go there. We get to see all the fun and enjoy what these people do. But there's a lot of hard work and love put into this con. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video and this interview. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Hit the button.
You had all this time.
Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today we got the crew that makes RetroCon happen. So first off, we got Rose, who runs
the owner of RetroCon. If you look at the taxes.
Oh my God. Unfortunately, her husband isn't here. And then we got the rest of the crew. Do you want to introduce yourself?
And this is my mom. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. And this is my sister over here. If I didn't fight with her so much when I was a kid, I wouldn't be as cool as I am today.
Cool. What's that?
What's that? My friend Rachel's hiding over there. She's from BotCon. And my niece over here, we're not going to say the things I've been saying all day about her. I don't want to embarrass her.
Yeah, let's not.
I love her, though.
All right, over on this side.
Introduce you guys.
I'm Jeremy. I travel far distances. I help people out, get people to come, and I love
How many
coming.
times have you been to RetroCon?
I've been here since 2015.
And it's been rocking, huh?
Yep. I come, help people out, get people to come. Rose helps out. Not just me, everybody, but she always gets the good tickets before anybody else. So
I'll try. I have to say my husband probably does a lot of that. He does a lot of it. And I'm usually passed out while he's doing all the work. I'm just the boss. I'm just the one that says he can do whatever.
yeah, if it wasn't for Rose, we probably wouldn't have the cool people that we have in this room and in our lives today. Because it makes a lot of us, we're nerds, man. We're definitely nerds. And there's not a lot of places that you can interact with people that are like you. We collect Transformers, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joes, all types of collectibles and things like that, but you meet so many different people, not just me, it's every walks of earth, and it's just a great place to come, and not just to say that, it's another home, it's a second home, and Rose makes it happen. I mean, everybody will tell you that without even me, everybody will say, hey, yeah, that's how it works, yep. Without having people like her, you never have a place to go and be yourself.
Give him a hug.
And I'm very loving, so.
You're a sweetheart.
Yeah, you're a sweetheart.
Earth and beyond, you have.
I have to say, everyone in there is family. That's what RetroCon is.
We've all been around a long
Family.
time.
We're
It's
family.
a long time.
She's a boy that I didn't have.
She said that because I started out with Transformers as a kid.
She went
and
with
I
the,
think most of us
She
love
went
it,
with
so.
the dad's junkyards and everything like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go.
Swap meets. We used to go to swap meets. Tom can tell you about that. He had a General Lee this weekend here. And my dad and I used to do the same thing. Swap meets every weekend looking for parts for his 47 Chevy. So Tom can tell you about
Who's the rest of the crew here? This is
Sean.
Sean.
I actually met Rose on MySpace. She used to moderate at Transformers.
Remember those days?
Yeah. Next.
I'm Perry, I'm Sean's wife, and
The real boss.
Yeah.
So there were three things that really make RetroCon special and different from any other con. One is the fact that it is retro. You're not going to see all the new stuff where people people promoting within their upcoming projects. You're going to see the things that make you nostalgic. You're going to see your childhood. You're going to look around and say, oh my God, I haven't seen that in years. I saw someone who had made an ornament of a little creature from Flight of the Navigator, who she also made a plaque of the Doors from Nightmare Before Christmas. She made a beautiful plaque of an owl that said, I move the stars for no one. That's Labyrinth, another one of my favorites. So you're not going to see that at most cons. They just don't care about what's old. They care about what's new. The second thing is, most cons are all about money. They're in there for the, you know, how much can we charge you for extra to sit at a panel, or extra to do this, or extra to do that. There are no extra charges at RetroCon. They're just not there. And the third thing that makes RetroCon special that no one has is Rose.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Rose, we wouldn't have what we have
Well,
today.
I have to give Tony a lot of credit too, but it's true that we do try to keep things low. We want it to be family friendly, and we want people to have fun.
Next on our list.
Hi, I'm Tom Felice. I do own the General Lee that came here this weekend because of Rose. I met Rose, my gosh, at Mulligan Hill Swap Meet, at Wizard World, at, I mean, how many other
We've
events?
known each other for about 15 years.
It's
at
been a very
least.
long time. I came here, I don't know if anybody remembers, with the General out in the parking lot.
I do.
With the Hazard Patrol
Yeah.
car, the Scooby-Doo van, the Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I remember all
the
that,
Daisy
yeah.
Duke car, the Hazard. I gathered all those people because Rose had asked me to, and I love her. She's a sweetheart. I'm like, you know what? She deserves.
I think that was actually one of our first retro
It was.
too.
It was number two.
It was number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that, and I missed the first one because of Sandy, but I've been to all the others.
Oh, there you go. That dates it. Touched it. It was a year of Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we were all out in the parking lot because we at the time we were in the small hall. There was
Yeah,
no
we
room.
were in the smallest hall.
She said,
yeah.
you're going to be in the parking lot. I said, that's fine. And up the Schuylkill Expressway I came, and we all gathered in the parking lot. It was a blast. It was a real fun time. And years have gone by, and I was supposed to come back.
Yeah.
And it still hurts my heart, but an opportunity came up. I was supposed to be here the year that Jeb Duke was here. And I was all lined up for it, and I won a contest in Maryland. And the contest was to meet Richard Petty. And I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
And I was torn. And the hardest phone call I made was to Rose and Tony to tell them, look, here's what I have. And Rose, the sweetheart that she is, it's not a big deal. It's okay. It's Richard Petty. I'm like, oh my God. How am I supposed to reach this chick when she's up on this pedestal? So we talked for a little bit, and she said, do you think you could find someone else? I know a lot of TV and movie car people. A lot. They're all great guys, just like you guys. They all get along. They all show up for each other. We all help each other out. And everybody was busy. All the generals were busy. We found one from Rockingham, North Carolina, who drove up here. And it was a newer Challenger done up like the General Lee, but it was suffice, and it worked out, and thank goodness it did. And Rose never held it against me because here I am. And she always said, let me reiterate too, back up a little bit, I should say. She always said to me, I'm going to have John Schneider. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, this poor girl, she's never going to get John Schneider. It's too hard. It's too much. Apparently, as you all know, when she puts her mind to something, it happens. And Mom, I'm telling you, chip off the block there or what? And the first she called me and said, I have Catherine. And I'm like, wow, do you want to come? I'm like, yeah, I wanted to come. No, was it Catherine or Tom first?
I think it was Catherine and Tom were talking about it, and I said, well, we're going to sign these people on, and Catherine was in the works. Tom signed it first, and then Catherine says, I'm going to come out too, and after that I said, Tom, do you want to come out? I said, we got two of them. We're working on John, and I had always promised him if we got one of them, he was going to be the first person I called. And I stayed to my word because we've known each other forever. And I says, you're going to be the first person I call if we ever get him. And we thought we would never be big enough to get John Schneider. Because, I mean, John Schneider, you know, and all the Dukes. We thought a Dukes of Hazzard reunion would never be possible. Well, never say never.
It has been 5 years since those three have been together.
Yeah, and did you see the lines
2017
today?
at
Was
Cooters.
insane.
Yeah.
The lines today,
Yeah.
you could not get through.
That's
It
proof
was nuts.
that everybody wants to be here in
Yeah.
Florida.
That A-Team reunion was pretty awesome too.
It was.
Yeah, I missed it.
I'm honestly feeling like I don't know how we can top this year. Maybe Alf will be able to tell us.
That would be
I told
awesome.
you,
I would like to
Marty
have, you know what? If I could get all my buddies from Melmac that got away, that would make it great. That would make it awesome. This guy here, though, he knows my voice, and I don't know why. I'm not Paul Fusco. I wish I had that stupid money. It's all right. Go ahead and tell him who you are. You're okay. Now make sure to get me my cat. Do what you gotta do. Oh, sorry. All right. So my name is Mike Bro. I am the host of the Bro Show, which I haven't done in a little bit, but I need to start getting back into it. I met Tony and Rose back in 2007 at BotCon for the first Transformers live movie. And that's where I met Rose, where she was dressed as the Baroness. And one of the first photos I got was me and her in front of the screen-used Optimus Prime truck.
I mean, does that tell you something there? If you listen to every year how long all of us have known each other, how long I've known everyone, even individually.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I can't even, there's like 10, 15, 20, you know, there's people here that I've known half my life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but it's true. This lady here, of course, she's known me since day one.
I feel sorry for you, ma'am. I'm kidding.
So now, my question is, what made you want to do this?
Well, people that remember BotCon, I used to work there with a convention. I used to get guests. I would spend my whole weekend working with the BotCon convention. And in 2005, my husband says, we're always doing all this work. You're always busting your butt. And the actors would say that too. And I said, Rosemary, why aren't you working for yourself? You're doing this for everyone else. And then in 2012, Tony says, why don't we just do it ourselves? We got enough friends. Let's get some people together and do it ourselves. And we did.
Now, was it hard to start it up, or like?
Well, we went slow at first. And like when Tom mentioned the cars, we kind of like tried to get people together that we knew could help us out. And, you know, we got a cheap hall, went cheap as possible, one-day event. I think our first event had like 600. And maybe the second event had like maybe close to 15. But I mean, it grew and grew. And the first 2 years we had like in D. Then we went to D and E. And then Tony said, let's go to C. And it just kept on growing. And we were in C for like probably what, about 6 or 7 years?
8 or 9,
longer maybe.
Yeah.
And this was our first year in A-Hall. And it really knocked it out. I've heard nothing but good things about the entire day.
It was a great con.
What was really nice too was the fact that with this convention here, this particular year, we were back in that entranceway that was next to the original place where we had it. And one of the things I like to do, and we did the second year there, you came to me and said, we want to do a trivia contest. You do your show and everything, and let's do that. And you gave me all these toys, and we did all the questions and whatnot. And we did the first trivia contest in the same panel room that we did it again this year for the 10th anniversary of just a trivia contest.
Just going back.
Every time before, in between, we did it in a kind of curtained off area in the hallway, and it still felt the same way every time, from the panel room to the curtained off back to this room. And that's a family feeling. That's what made it perfect. That's what's made it fun. And these guys trusted me with something they hadn't thought about doing before. I was shocked. And I want to give them the thanks for helping me grow even.
But even the trivia contest has a better feel than most cons, a more personal feel. Like you actually give the card along with the prize.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Everyone here knows if there's an Alf, point it out to Bro. And if there's a strawberry shortcake, point it out to Bro's wife.
Yes, absolutely. So if there's any strawberry
that.
shortcake fans out there, let me know. I can send them to my wife. If you got any Alf stuff, let me know. I'll probably want it. But beyond that, I wouldn't be able to ask these things. Like, people wouldn't know these things about me without Rose and Tony having RetroCon. And it's a real family feel. That's the best part. Even with the guests, even with all the people coming into the show.
I totally agree with that. I think the first time I actually met Rose was either my first or second time coming. I was dressed as Deadpool. And when I came.
Oh, okay.
So I came, and I'm just taking pictures with people, just being goofy, having fun. And then I noticed this lady over in a Robotech fighter pilot suit.
Oh yeah, with the helmet and everything too. Yeah.
So I went over. I was like, "Wow, that's a cool outfit." And we're talking. She's like, "I run this." I was like, "Really?" And next thing I know, I'm in the back. I'm hanging out with her, the voice actor of Prowl, and a few of the other voice actors. And as a nerd, somebody who's been going to cons since, God, the 80s. I used to go to the old Star Trek conventions and stuff like that. And one of the things that always attracted me to this con, and the reason why I always promote this con, because I always tell people, this is a con for fans, by fans. And I think probably one of your biggest challenges, in my thought, would be trying to keep things at a reasonable price for fans.
Yeah, and families.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I used to go to the Comic-Cons. And when I used to go, like when they first started, they were reasonably priced. But they gave you the baggie. You got to see everything. All of a sudden, they got rid of the baggies. You had to pay extra to watch the interviews and the Q&As. And it's just like, it became a money machine. And the thing I always liked about coming to this con is that it didn't feel like that.
No.
I feel welcome. Her and her husband take time just to talk to me, and I'm nobody. I'm just some guy who comes to the con and dresses weird every now and again.
I mean,
every now and again.
There was the weekend I tried to kill. I was killing her all weekend.
Most events, what's that?
There was the con where I was killing you all weekend.
Oh yeah, that's whenever. Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. No.
I was Molly, she was Bellatrix, so I was killing her. No, not my daughter.
So I'm sure there's a lot of work that you have to put into, like, putting one of these together.
Oh, it takes a year. People say you want to do it more often, and it's like it's too much. But when you talk about the price, we really want to keep it family friendly. And we don't need VIPs. I mean, Tom's done events with cars. A lot of people have done events with cars and special guests. They have the VIP where you have to pay like $700 or $800 to get a VIP to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, we want to keep it where everybody's equal. You get in line, if you buy your ticket ahead of time, which $30 for a weekend pass is ridiculous.
Oh, that's excellent.
You're not going to get that anywhere. And then, you know, if you're there first, if you get in line, it's who comes first. We don't do the VIP because I don't feel like you should have to pay $700 or $800 just to be able to see someone in the first in line. Just get there. You know. Of course, we did have someone there at 1 a.m. this morning.
That was when you posted about that. I was shocked. I'm like, wait a second, hold on. We had fans at 1 a.m. I don't think we've ever had that before, and that just goes to show how people love this show.
And this was a pre-registered. I mean, he knew he was getting in. He already had the ticket. But he was here at 1 a.m.
Yep.
Better man than me.
Yeah. I'm one of the guys that checks in the pre-registration. This is how much they trusted me, and I don't know why. I still don't know why to this day. I do the pre-register check-in with a certain team. I host a trivia contest. Then another year they said, hey, let's do a retro t-shirt contest. You can host that. And then this year we had the weird toy contest. You can host that. And then somehow I got roped into also being a judge for the karaoke contest with our friend Nagi. And Nagi is awesome too. She puts together an awesome karaoke contest all on her own. She pulls all the songs. She gets everybody signed up. She gets the judges ready. She sometimes has guest judges and everything. And that's family. That's all put together. Yeah. And it's because Rose and Tony had this awesome vision and everything. Every song, every prize that we had, even with the weird toy contest, we had a stipulation that had to be family friendly, which I love. That means no Punisher gun with the Punisher transforming toy. And somebody walked in with that today. I'm like, no, you can't. No, I'm sorry, you can't. No, it's not family friendly.
What was the one that you had to reject because it wasn't family friendly?
There was so I'll talk about it. No, I can tell you. I'll tell you what it was, but we couldn't do it. And it was a little boy that was dressed in like a golf suit. You press a button, and
the Charlie Brown one, right?
Yeah, and his pants would go down, and liquid would come out of a certain spot. It was very weird toy, but it was not family friendly, so we had to turn it down.
So that was like purposely made like that?
Yeah. It was a manufactured toy. No customs allowed, so yes. So we were like, no. However, somebody came in with a skipper that grew up, and you twist the arm and things would happen, and like that can kind of slide. So they trust me to make these judgments on that call because I have fun with it and I have a lot of fun interacting with the fans. I walked in for the weird toy contest. These guys didn't know I was doing this, but I had a Beavis and Butthead cologne from 1996 that still had the liquid inside. And I'm like, this is a good example of a weird toy. Let me put this on. It burns! and everybody was dying laughing. So at the end of the contest, it was the first time we'd done a weird toy contest, I asked, hey guys, did you have a lot of fun? Do you want to do this again? The room exploded.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And that little kid gave you an Alf.
Yeah, and the little kid, I don't
Oh,
have
how
with me.
sweet were those kids?
Yeah.
Gosh, I got a couple of the weird ones at home. Like I had to dissect an alien at home.
The one who won, I will say this, the guy who won had an Archie Bunker grandson doll. The baby in a box.
Whoa.
It was an actual manufactured toy. So this is the kind of stuff you don't get any other convention. You won't go to like a Wizard World or Fan Expo or anything like that. They're not going to have a weird toy contest. Here, we're going to get weird toys. We're going to get the fun stuff that you can look at and go, I didn't know that was even made. And it's not a custom. It's not anything. It's manufactured. It might be bootleg or anything. But you're not going to get that anywhere else. And we're going to have the fun.
Monster Mania is cut back on like panel rooms
Yeah.
and video rooms so they can squeeze in more autographs.
Yeah, no, we don't do that. This is...
And with the costume contest, no matter how good or bad the costume is, everyone gets shown the appreciation for the effort, and they get shown the respect. You're not going to get, like, at the more professional cons, you're going to get boos if the costume isn't up to standard. That's not going to happen here.
No. Everybody's very respectful of everything. It's like with the contest, like the t-shirt or anything, I said it today. I'm like, you know what? I feel bad. I get down to like the 10 and I have to pick the top 3. Everybody's a winner to me. Everybody in this.
Yeah, but when that kid said that the decal on his shirt was actually from the 80s.
Oh my gosh, that was cool. He was a retro t-shirt contest. He was one of the ones who was in the top 3. He had a t-shirt that he made, which was fine, but the rub-on that he had was from the 80s. It was a Batman logo, but it was the actual one from the 80s.
Oh.
And it still worked. You don't get that at any other convention. And I want those stories. We want those stories. We want to hear. Tony will sit there and listen to the stories. Miss Rose will sit there and listen to every little kid that walks up there and goes, I love this show. Or, you know, the guy who goes, I love Transformers. I saw you at BotCon. Thank you for setting up this convention. I feel at home. This is what RetroCon is. It's a home to all of us. And it just feels right.
It's like coming home every year when we have it. It's like coming home.
And it happened at a different event. She was dressed up as McGonagall from Harry Potter, and she encountered a little blind girl. I think it was a girl, right?
Yeah.
A little blind girl. And she stayed in character for the little girl the whole time.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It takes a special character to be
Yeah,
like
and then I
Tony.
had a little girl after that came around me, and she says, I really want you to transform into a cat for you people that like Harry Potter.
Yeah, she wanted you to transform.
There was this animal shelter was giving out kittens at the time or adopting them. And she kept on saying, I really want you to transform into a cat. And I'm bending down talking to this little girl, and I says, if I do that, sweetie, they're going to try to adopt me out. She says, can't you turn into a kitty for a little bit?
But then we wouldn't have that year's RetroCon. Oh no, we can't have that.
I do love kids. You should have seen, we had some friends come all the way from Japan that Tony and I haven't seen in years. And they brung their 4-month-old baby. And she put him in my arms. And I was like, oh, so precious. You know, I love kids. But
that's the problem nowadays with your modern con. They're not about family or even about the fans anymore. It's about the dollar bill.
Yeah, just like Harry was saying, same thing.
This is not about that at all. See, also, this con separates the adult costumes from the children's costumes, so the children have a chance. Mm-hmm. Obviously, children are not going to have, like, there was a Transformers aren't my fandom. I don't know who this Transformer was. But it was an amazing costume, I can tell you that. What was it? What was his name again? Soundwave? Soundwave. But what kid is going to be able to compare with that? So the kids are going to get their own costume contest tomorrow. And if Sarah from Labyrinth doesn't win, she was robbed.
I saw that costume when they checked in.
Oh, was it not amazing?
Mm-hmm.
So, but each child will get a chance to shine. Each one will get a chance to get their moment, their applause. Win or lose, doesn't matter. They will feel seen, they will feel respected, and they will feel loved. And what's better than that?
And I'll point out one other thing, too. Even though we only have 3 main winners with the children's contest, we have this toy bin. So whenever the contest ends, each kid gets to pick out a retro toy out of there. So they have the 3 winners, but then each kid, we've always made that a rule that each kid gets to go home with something out of the toy box.
And I think that's the way it should be. Now, here's a fun question. Have you ever had anybody come in costume that had such a costume that you had to say, yo, you can't wear that here?
Not that I can think of. Nothing that was too far outlandish or anything. It's been very, very respectful from everybody coming up. I can't think of like too many super short skirts. No, nobody.
Because some cons I go to, I see some of these people like, whoa, hide the eyes of the child as we walk by.
We have a lot of horror fans.
I did hear this crazy story once. This was one of our earlier retro cons. I don't know who it was, but someone was dressed up as Mermista from Princess of Power, and I heard she had a wardrobe malfunction at one point. And I won't have to tell you what happened. If you know Mermista, she's a mermaid, and her top went whoop. I missed it, but I heard about it.
Well, I mean, malfunction is one thing, but somebody who comes in an outfit that you're like,
I've seen ones that cut it close, but they were all respectful. Like, we're hoping to, within the next year or two, do Logan and Jessica?
Logan 5 and Jessica 6.
And we were making the joke because Jessica's dress is basically a sheath with nothing, underneath. I'm like, I will not be doing that. Even if I had the figure to do it, I would not be doing that. Not here. Back in the day when I was Janet on 8th Street, yes, I may have had an intentional wardrobe malfunction every now and then, but that is not a family environment, and this is. So.
Now, do you guys ever had any problems with anybody with problems with props? So I know some cons, they throw you out if you have a plastic gun and it doesn't have the red tip.
Or things like that too.
Or if somebody actually wears real swords or something, they throw them out and stuff like that.
I will say this was a few years back. Someone actually brought a metal sword for Larry Kinney to sign. That was a lino. And we had a couple of fans run up to us and started complaining, this guy's carrying around a sword, and it turned out to just be a prop. But they're like, he's carrying around this big sword, and it's like, I'm just taking it in here to get it signed and taken out. But that's the most I've ever heard.
Well, then you guys never paid attention to me when I came in, because I did Zorro once, and I had 3 katanas on me.
But now here's the thing.
Don't incriminate yourself. Don't incriminate yourself.
Full tang. Double folded katanas hanging off of my...
But now here's the thing. I think because...
Yes.
Oh.
I think because we're such a family-friendly environment, and I think we all have a good sense of people coming in, that we can pick up on something that may be off with someone who might have, quote, real type things or anything.
I mean, I wasn't going to go swinging around and go crazy, but it was just part of the costume.
I will say this year, though, because we have grown, that we did have 2 security guards on duty this year.
And they might
just to keep an eye out.
The reason why they're real swords is because I don't believe in buying fake weapons. If I'm going to buy a sword, I want it to be a sword, because I'm a collector of swords and knives as well.
Right.
We usually, when we were smaller, we could keep an eye on people, but as we're growing, like with the guests as they're growing too, and the size of who we're getting, Tony says, okay, we're getting security. We're getting into this because there is a bigger crowd.
What if?
We have to be careful. Yeah. I mean, even at the concert, it was pretty big tonight. And they had security guards watching. And it's just, I mean, you want to trust everybody. You want to be able to trust everyone, but you want to keep everyone safe, too.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You just never know.
And even with COVID regulations, we managed to still have all the same events, but people were respectful. We did all keep our masks on when required. There were no, and I don't think I've ever really seen a need for. I mean, I'm obviously not everywhere, but I've never even seen so much as people shout at each other, let alone actually come to blows.
There's been a couple of incidents, but nothing like crazy or anything. Nothing that was stopped. And you have the occasional off kilter type thing, but nothing that may have needed security yet. But I agree with Rose. As we grow, as we get bigger, we absolutely
I think the thing is it's our type of community, the nerd community, and I think people don't understand it. Like the people who run these big cons, like Dragon Con, Comic Con, to where they put all these restrictions. No, you can't have this. They check everything at the door. because they don't understand us. Like me, I would walk in with the real katanas, but I'm not out to do nothing. I'm just cosplaying. And they don't understand that we're not out to hurt nobody. Nobody's messing, because we're all pretty peaceful with each other.
Like the real compound bow that sits on my back tray of my Charger.
Yeah.
With the real bow and arrow. Now that I think about it, I never
awesome,
even, it's
though.
with me all the time.
And they don't understand that that's
never-
all it
and
is.
it never moves. It stays back there. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I mean, I'm sure this has been going on for 10 years.
Yeah, this is our 11th year.
And you never
actually.
really had any real confrontations.
No.
None I know.
We might have had a toy dealer fighting with another toy dealer of who gets what
Okay, I'm
toy.
sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that one
Yeah, I
time.
mean-
Because I'm also a toy dealer
Really,
too.
Mike?
So what people don't understand about this community is we're not, out to hurt each other. These things, we dress as we want, but we're all civil with each other.
Now, granted, I will walk around because Alf gets hungry and he does look for real live kittens and cats. I'm just saying. I really need to get them because I'm really hungry for a kitty right now. Anybody got one around this table? Because I'm hungry. But seriously.
I
Kitten
told you there
earlier
were
today.
two.
I saw
There
a
were
kitten
two there
earlier.
today, and they
Yeah,
were
there
tender little
was.
kittens.
Now, Rose, do you ever have any events like during a con that fail? That you say, nah, this one's so bad that we ain't going to try this again?
No, we haven't yet. We haven't had anything that really didn't work. We've always taken it slow, and what we do is if we have an event, we always make sure we have enough to cover it. If the event didn't work out, we make sure we have enough money to cover it.
Right.
You say, okay, this just didn't work out. It was a flop. We had enough money to cover the event. We went, and when COVID happened, a lot of people that bought their tables ahead of time, and then whenever it happened, a lot of conventions just couldn't afford to give the money back, but Tony and I used our own money that we had saved up, and we contacted people and said, do you want your money back? Because, we're not going to hold your money because we're not having the event this year. And most people trusted us enough that they said, okay, well, we want to roll it over to next year when everything's better. But we weren't those types that say, hey, we want your money, we're going to give it back. Just like when we got John and them. I said, we're one of those events, if they have a high guaranteed, we're going to make sure that we're good on it. We're going to give that money. If we don't make the guaranteed, we're going to give it. And it's just one of those things with Tony and I. If we fail, we're not going to, leave someone high and dry. And
Now,
that's...
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I'm just saying that's what I feel like is a successful convention. If people can trust you, that's what you're going for, is trust.
Now, do you feel like it's getting harder and harder to do conventions with new restrictions or
No, I
them
think
upping
COVID
prices
was probably,
of?
Well, no, Tony says he's never going to get any higher. He's going to, if say the convention went higher, he might go $2 or $3 up, but he's never ever going to go any higher if he can.
I know some of these halls, I hear that they really hit people over the head now with renting the halls and stuff like
well,
that.
It's kind of high, but they know us. We're grandfathered in. They might go up a little bit, but we only go up that percentage. Like say they added $1,000 or $2,000 more to it, we would only go $5 or $10 more on a table. We're just really creeping it up. I think the tickets were a couple years ago, it was $27 for a weekend pass. Well, now we've inched up to $30, but we're not doing it drastically.
Right.
We would never do it drastically. It's not about that. We want people to come because we're family. It's not to make a fortune. We're doing it because we're passionate about it. We love people, We love sharing what we love. I mean, this woman here will tell you, I grew up with Transformers. I mean, being able to share what I love with people is what I've always been about. And it's not about being rich. It's about being with people that you appreciate and you love.
And as a fan, I can tell you this, it shows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very loving and care about everyone. And when you saw me going over there and hugging you, it's because I care about everyone. You guys are my family.
But I'm at stars through her, and all it was nice to meet.
Yeah. Actually, John Snyder's calling her mom.
Oh, no.
Now,
But that's the thing. It's not just us. Even the guests that she gets become family too. We were actually just discussing Alan Oppenheimer today, and because let me tell you, he was amazing, and he was funny, charming, but Rose he became instant family.
Yeah, he does write me a lot. And, no, you don't always keep in contact with all of them, but I've never had an actor go home complaining. We had The Greatest American Hero, William Catt come out.
I remember that. We were here.
When he first came out, he was kind of like very quiet. And when he left, he was like, you know, you guys have an amazing convention. He says, you're so family friendly. He says, I've never seen a convention so family friendly.
That was my baby boy's first con. We have a picture of him with William Katz, And
it was the same way with Dirk Benedict came out.
I made him
for
see
the 18 meetup, and he hugged me when he left, and he says, Rosemary, I gotta tell you, I love you guys. He says, you gotta get me back out. Same thing with Gil Gerard. He gave me a hug, and he says, you guys are amazing. I've never had an actor leave that didn't hug us and thank us for loving him.
Now, it was so sad to hear Felix died actually not long after he was here.
Now, you don't have to say names, but have you ever had like any actors or anybody who were like a problem actor, who were like, I know some of them get really particular, they need this certain thing, like certain types of water, this or that.
Writer.
Huh?
They're writer.
Oh, the writer.
Yeah. No, so like, have you ever had like, and like I said, you don't need to throw any actor or anybody under the bus, but have you ever had one that was just like, have any of them really been a problem?
A diva?
Well, I can't really say any of them's been too bad. I had a couple of them that, you know, they would be a little bit picky about how you addressed them. Like, say, if someone was a voice actor or an on-screen actor, and if they did one role more than the other, if you were to say, oh, this person was in such and such, they don't like to hear that. They don't want to hear that. He says, well, you're best known for this, and he says, I want to be known for everything. And it's like whenever you announce them, one of the things you want to do is put what they're best known for. You know, not always, you mention everything else, but we've had a couple actors that were kind of like, I want to be known for other things. You know, they would be a little bit upset about that. But we want to have the draw of what they were, you know, known for. So, I mean, just a few things like that.
Yeah, because I heard, like, at a couple of cons that, like, certain actors or stuff were, like, really bad to work with, and they're really particular about a whole lot of stuff, so.
We've had a couple that are slightly, I don't want to say divas, but slightly divas. They are. But, I mean, you know, for the most part, I think all of them's very, very nice. Very nice. Lots of hugs.
Yeah,
most of them end up hugging me before they leave.
Now, I know you have the main crew here. Do you get volunteers and stuff? Are they hard to find, or?
We usually have a lot of volunteers, but we've been dragging my sister in a lot the last couple years. I'm afraid that she might be dragged in next year. My husband really likes her. He's really impressed with her because, I mean, they live in Ohio, and they came out for the first time to RetroCon last year, and my sister just jumped right in there. I mean, whenever we were doing it, she jumped right in there, and I was like, well, now she's a permanent volunteer. She's going to have to break it to them if they can't do it.
I'm sure it's hard to staff, I mean, because you need probably like a lot of people,
and
right,
Mom
Rose?
wants to be a volunteer too, but she usually just follows us around and hangs on Greg Evigan. Hangs on Greg.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure it takes a lot of people to run something like this.
Oh, it does. I think we probably have volunteer and staff-wise, we probably have about 25, maybe more.
And they're all volunteer staff,
I mean,
like you don't have anybody on like a
we might have started off with maybe 10 when we first started, but now it's like about 25, 30. We're growing. I mean, it's just, you have to have it. You have to have people watching the lines and everything.
I told her she should come and get me sometimes, but when I found her, she said, oh, guess what? Chris said I could take you down and spies me. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's my brother-in-law. But there's a line all the way around the building last year.
Yeah,
so
I remember that.
Yeah, me and him were all the way in the back.
That was one thing we talked about this year. And we said, how can we fix this?
And this year it was phenomenal because I've been doing the pre-registration check-in since the second RetroCon with these guys. And there was always a way to make it better every year. But last year was this phenomenal explosion, so we were like caught unprepared. These guys came up with a great way, especially with the bigger hall now, for the cash people to come in and set up a single line. Let's utilize all 3 lines that we can use at this cash box office, and then we work together to come up with something with the pre-registration check-ins so that no one got left coming in too late, past like the 10 o'clock point. So we actually employed a little bit of a digital technology this year to work with that and streamline the process. And I started checking people in half an hour before they could even go in. They had a place to stop and wait to go in, and they were all checked in.
It was actually double time.
Yeah.
Last year we were kind of like, how are we going to do this? This year we got everybody double time. I mean, there was lines at one when we first started it that day. Today, of course, because people were there at 1 o'clock.
Right.
I'm not even going. Still can't get over that. But I mean, we had lines, but they were in within a half hour's time.
Yeah.
They were in. I mean, there was long lines, and like I said, back in the Dukes of Hazzard panel, Tom was back there. There was just lines all the way across. I was like, oh my gosh.
But the best part was they were already in the convention hall.
Yeah, they were already in the hall.
This year we did something that we've never done before. The ones that were doing cash pay and coming in at 10, like the hour after the pre-registrants, they were waiting to get in. We were so far ahead and had all the pre-registrants check in, and they let people in early.
And the vendors room was amazing this year.
9:40 people were coming in. Yeah.
We showed up about 10:30, and you guys were already mobbed when we walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's a good sign of a growing con, I would think. You know, if people are there that early.
But I will say, when you go to RetroCon, you have space to walk around. If you're going down a toy aisle, you're going to have room to move because it's not like tight aisles. Tony's great for spacing them out where people can walk through them. Even if you're packed, you're going to have some space.
Well, I think what I'm going to do next year when I come to RetroCon is we'll probably have the baby with us, and I'm going to just put a cow catcher on the front of the stroller and just plow my way on through.
I did want to, Sean and I did want
torn and they don't listen.
Sean and I did actually want to suggest the one thing that I think you might not be prepared for is the lines by the talent were kind of crisscrossing, and it became confusing as to which line you were on.
At one point, the Angry Video Game Nerds line cross streams with the Dukes of Hazzard.
So, like, maybe if you either had colored tape or colored ropes to indicate.
I think they had some colored tape, but people were crossing over the colored tape.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe ropes might be better.
Get the stanchions that have the pull part. Yeah, we use those.
They had colored tape, but people were crossing over.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
I was back here and I saw some of it, but people were crossing over it. But at one point, you know, like when your guest gets more, you have to space it out a little bit. But I think in the long run, it did still get people through, but it was kind of like crosses for a while.
Oh
like
yeah, it worked out. It just a little
the lines were just
but that's another thing. Even in that, in other cons, if someone even appeared to have cut you off, you're gonna get your hair out.
That would have been a fist fight in another con.
Right. Here, it was barely a. I'm sorry, I was on this line, and okay, I'm sorry, and it was fixed. No argument, no nothing.
Now here's another question. So when you're setting up your talent, like, you know, you got this booth here for this person, do you have to set it up a certain way? Like, is this person supposed to be here for a reason, or is this person in the middle because they're a bigger person?
No,
celebrity,
we kind of just line them up by what they are. I mean, by what shows, what they've done. Like all the Dukes were together next to each other.
That makes sense.
But then you inch down a little bit further, and there was Greg Evigan because it had that 70s theme.
Right.
So we kind of just worked it down from, and John Snyder, you know, the rows too. I would say definitely John Snyder was first because he's on Smallville, he's on Dukes of Hazzard, and then we just kind of worked our way down through the 70s belt because you would see Greg Evigan, and we kind of go by categories, I would say.
Have you ever had somebody say, no, I don't want to be there, I want to be here?
No, we never had anyone say that before.
Huh.
But they have arranged their tables. They did that this year. Yeah, we put 2 tables for the guests, and they just do whatever they want to do with them.
Yeah,
Just like the
sense.
vendors, they play with their tables.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I'm also a vendor, so
okay.
I do a lot at the convention. Like I joke, Tony's trying to kill me sometimes because I have my 2 tables, then I do all the hosting and everything. But I love it. Like I wouldn't do it for anybody else.
Now, if I was a vendor and I wanted to like set up a table there, how soon should I be getting hold of you guys?
Soon as we announce.
Yep.
Soon as we announce, because the tables sell out fast. They sell out fast. They used to. Now, and I know you guys remember this. Some of you remember this. When we first got that show, we would be promoting all the way up until the last month before this show happened, selling tables.
Mm-hmm.
Now, within the first 2 months, the tables are usually sold out. Within the first few months, it's all sold out.
Now, do you
Yeah.
have a minimum for tables? Like, can somebody just get one table, or is it like a minimum of 2?
Oh,
or?
we have some people that get 9 and 10 tables. And then we have people that get 1, but I think the highest this year was 9 tables.
Sounds about
for
right.
vendor.
Yeah, and
Well,
so
like
I
the
think Tony was
corner
saying,
areas,
What's that?
the little corner areas, because some of them have built up. Some of the vendors
Yeah.
have almost an entire. It almost looks like an actual storefront.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
then we
seen a
let them
couple
do
of
whatever
those.
they want to do over there.
I think last
Have
year there was
fun.
like one that I went into. It was like a little city. It was like
Yeah.
the you know, the
That's
cases
right.
went over you. You kind of walk through the
Yeah.
middle of it. It was like, whoa, man.
And I have gotten word from vendors that they say we're one of the best conventions when it comes to vendor spots, because we not only give them an 8-foot table, but they have an 8-foot space that goes back 10 feet. So we give them enough where they can build their own little hut there, anything they want to do with it. I mean, even with the with the General Lee this time, we told you to do whatever you wanted to do with the space. Yeah, just
You
have
did.
fun with it.
That's a giant space too.
Yeah, and that's what like the vendors get. They get a huge spot to do whatever they want to do with
I was
them.
having trouble filling the void. I'm like, oh, thank God I brought 3 game animals. It was rough, but it worked out.
and I can say this, you know, being a vendor as well, the fact that, you know, over the years it's grown from about like 150 vendors to 180 to 200 our tables, and this year it was like 280 something tables or so, and like 25 new vendors or so came in this year from buying multiple tables. That's just awesome growth, and that means maybe more competition, but also more opportunities for people coming into the convention to buy stuff
There's more
and find
diversity
exactly what they're
in the
looking for.
offerings too. A lot more diversity.
Yeah, and that's important.
And the crafted products are just as great as the nostalgic toys,
Yeah.
as the collectibles. And also then you have the fandom areas that are great. You have the 501st, you have G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
You know,
we should do
we're
It's-
trying to get Star Trek up for next year.
Yeah. We also have sometimes like the V group and all that too. It's phenomenal. We have a lot of fan groups and it's just fun. You find what you're looking for 9 times out of 10.
Well, we could probably talk all night long.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I have to keep my videos to a certain length. Otherwise, you know, people start to trail off. So I really enjoyed this interview with you guys.
We loved doing it.
Yeah.
Loved reminiscing.
What I really like about this is it gives my viewers a chance to see the inside of a con. You know, what makes a con work, the boss, you know, and different things about it. The one thing I always got from this con since the first time I went is a feel of family and connection. It didn't feel like you're just a company taking my money and then, you know. And I hope that this will always keep that feeling to it. Because what you guys have here is an anomaly. You don't see many cons like that. And that's why I wanted to take a time to talk with you folks. I really appreciate you guys giving me this time, you know, to learn a little bit of the insides of a con. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this interview. It was very nice of Rose and her crew to spend some time and talk with us. And until the next video, later. All right, so that was the interview. As you see, you know, these people, the one main thing about this con that makes it great, and they said it over and over, and I totally feel this, is that you feel like family when you come into this, you know. These people try to do everything they can to make a great experience for you and make you feel like you're part of the family. And that's what I love about this con. And like you even heard it said a couple of times, you know, most of your bigger ones are about the money. They're trying to get the money. And these people are really trying to, you know, make us feel like having a good time. And that's why I've been going to this for years. So once again, I really appreciate Rose and her crew taking the time out to actually, you know, do this interview with me. It was very much appreciated. They put a lot of love and joy into this con, and I look forward to going to many, many more RetroCon. So with that being said, I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, go ahead and share this video, hit a like, and subscribe. These are all small clicks for you, but it really helped this channel grow. So until the next one, late.